Hi, I'm Jimmy Dowd Jr., and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Scores! Oh, Steven stepped up, nailed it. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here at the Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey club play announcer, Devils Wire Pucks Pitchforks, and also part-time credential media member, Trey Matthews. I have a special guest joining me on today's episode. He was recently signed by the New Jersey Devils ECHL affiliate, the Adirondack Thunder, shortly after development camp. He was an alternate captain for the Penn State Nittany Lions and helped lead their team to its first ever Frozen Four appearance in program history. He's a Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey native and is the son of 1995 Stanley Cup champion Jim Dowd. It's Jimmy Dowd Jr. Jimmy, first and foremost, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm up at Penn State right now, training for a couple weeks, getting ready for the prospect challenge with the Devils. Just got back from the rink about 40 minutes ago, had some lunch, and then got ready for this.
Awesome. We're going to talk about your tenure at Penn State and, of course, some NHL stories. But before we get into all that, where did hockey begin for you?
I think the first time that, or when I started skating, it was actually in Illinois when my dad played for the Blackhawks. I think it was called Rocky Hockey or something. And that was my first organized ice hockey skates. And then I came home to New Jersey, and did the house league stuff. And I think I was around 6 years old then, to learn to play and everything. So that's kind of when it all started.
So let me just ask you this. Is Anthony Dowd your brother?
Yes. Yep. He's my little brother.
Okay. So I think you're going to get a kick out of this. I went to Arizona State University and I
No way.
I actually announced some of his games.
That's sweet.
And for anyone who doesn't know, not only did Jim Dowd's son play there, but Scott Niedermayer's sons also played there. Josh and Jackson, they shared the same rink. So
yeah.
I'm not sure if you had the chance to make it down to Tempe and experience Mullet Arena, but what was it like seeing your brother share the same rink as Scott Niedermayer's sons? Because your father and Scott go way back.
Yeah. No, it was cool when my little brother went there and then the Niedermayers went there. That was a topic of conversation, And I actually was able to visit him this summer. So I was down in Tempe for the first time in my life, and got to be around Mullet Arena and see what it was like over there. But I remember my little brother saying he loved the Niedermayers, he loved them around, having them around, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Arizona State is on the come up, and we'll talk about Penn State momentarily. I had Jeremy Brodeur on the show last fall.
No way.
Yep, and he talked about the dynamic of having an NHL father. Martin Brodeur played almost his entire career with the Devils. His final season was with the Blues. The Brodeurs remained in Jersey for the most part, but your father played with 10 different teams in his career. Were you guys constantly moving around? Did you stay put while he traveled personally? What was that like?
We lived in a couple different places. Kind of like I mentioned before, we lived in Illinois for a little bit. I think it was Burridge, Illinois, when he played for the Blackhawks. We lived in Minnesota when he played for the Wild. And then there was also during 04-05, the lockout season, when he played over in Hamburg, Germany. We lived over there for I don't know how long it was, maybe a month or 3 months or something like that. But so we moved around a little bit when he played, but then we came back to New Jersey after that and kind of settled there, and that's where we started going to school and everything, and we've been in Jersey ever since.
I interviewed current Devil Stefan Nason's wife, and she talked about how sometimes it was difficult when her husband is constantly traveling, even if he's just playing with one team. As you grew older, did you find it difficult knowing that your father is constantly on the road, but that's just his profession? Just want to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, I was still pretty young, so I didn't think too much of it, and I knew, like you said, that was kind of his profession and what he had to do. So yeah, I don't really remember kind of being, worried or this or that. I just knew it was part of his job.
What was it like growing up in a hockey household where you and your brother played competitively and your dad is in the NHL?
It was pretty cool. I mean, like obviously me and my little brother got into hockey super young. Like we're always playing mini sticks at the house, like competing in whatever we do. But my dad kind of instilled that competitiveness in us and around our household when we were young, and it was just fun. It was fun being around hockey all the time. Like whether it was at the rink, at our house, in the basement playing mini sticks, roller hockey in the street. I've just loved the game.
Just a disclaimer for my audience, Jimmy was born in 2000, so he wasn't born when his father hoisted Lord Stanley in 1995. I'm sure your father has told you stories about winning the Stanley Cup, and what memories stuck out for you, whether you witnessed it in person or not?
Um, yeah, I remember I think he scored, and maybe it was like game three in overtime to put him up. Or maybe it was game two. I'm not sure, but I remember that like being a big thing when they went on that cup run. But and then I remember there was and this was like after they won it, but there was like an alumni event, maybe in Bridgewater or something, that me and one of my best friends got to go to, and like they had the Stanley Cup there and everything. Um, but yeah, other than that, I mean, I wasn't born yet, so I don't know crazy much. Obviously the stories and stuff that he tells me, but other than that, that's pretty much it.
Did you get the chance to witness some of his big moments in person, like whether you were at the rink? We talked about like the stories you heard about the Stanley Cup run, but what about some things you were able to remember?
Um, I just remember. I know he retired with the Flyers in 07, 08, and like I'll remember like going down to the locker room, like or going into the wives' room and the family room and playing mini sticks with the kids down there. Um, and then for some reason, I remember. I don't. I think he was with the Flyers, maybe. They were playing the Rangers one night, and we were just watching at our house. And he scored on Hendrik Lundqvist from like the goal line or from the corner or something. And I don't know why I like so vividly remember this, but I was like watching in my room. And I started like jumping on my bed, and then I like ran to my mom's room because she was watching in her room, and I ran back to my room. But that's just like one little thing I remember.
So before we talk about the road to Penn State, your father was a center, you're a defenseman. How did that development work? How did you just realize that maybe I'm not a center, maybe I'm better suited on the blue line?
So I played forward up until I think it was like my Squirt double A year or maybe Pee Wee double A year, I think. I'm pretty sure it was Pee Wee double A year. And we were playing the New Jersey Colonials at their rink. And like two or three of our defensemen were sick, so we only had three defensemen. And like my dad, like he was always like when we're super young, like he wanted everyone to play every position or like guys fill in there just because you learn the game more. Um, and he was like, Jimmy, you're playing defense today. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever, like just a kid again, happy to be at the rink, happy to be playing. I was like, I'll do whatever you need me to. And I scored a hat trick that game. And I also scored on our own goal that game. But I just like kind of fell in love with like seeing the game in front of you, like letting the game develop. Um, and I really just fell in love with defense from then on. Um, so yeah, that was pretty much it. Yeah.
Before we continue with today's episode alongside Jimmy, let me tell you guys about Game Time. Have you ever decided at the last minute to head to a ball game with friends or family? Maybe it's game day and you suddenly realize you want to be in the stands. That's exactly where Game Time comes in. It's the easiest way to grab last minute tickets without the stress. With the money you save on tickets, you can splurge on food, drinks, merchandise, or even invite a bigger group to come with you. Take me out to the ball game. Game Time makes it possible. Game Time makes buying tickets fast and simple. Prices on the app actually drop the closer you get to first pitch, and they've got incredible last-minute deals, clear seat views, and at a lowest price guarantee that takes the worry out of buying. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On NHL, making it easy to browse the app for an exciting upcoming MLB game. Look, I don't know if you guys are Yankees fans, Mets fans, Phillies fans, what have you, but I think all three of those teams are going to go to the playoffs, barring anything catastrophic happening. Tired of endless scrolling, trying to find the best deal? Game Time Zone Deals pick the best seats in your section for you. You get great views of your seat in the app before you buy, so you know exactly where you'll be. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Okay, let's get back to today's discussion alongside Jimmy Dowd Jr. Take it away. Now, let's talk about the road to Penn State. You played for the Chicago Steel in the USHL. You also played for the New Jersey Junior Titans in the NOL. What was the process like of getting your name out there and committing to play at a D1 program?
So yeah, I want to say it all started like my first year with the U16 New Jersey Titans and George Havland and the team that we had that year. Like I played double A hockey all the way up until I was 15 years old. And then I played my first year of U16 national with that New Jersey Youth Titans team, and George Havland was our coach. And it's like my first year at Triple A, and I had a good year. And that's kind of when like things start to like there was a little bit of buzz around my name, and I made the national team development program evaluation camp. And I met Ryan Hardy, who was a big a proponent of my success and especially in the USHL with the Chicago Steel, because I was actually drafted to the Omaha Lancers in the USHL, and then Ryan Hardy became the general manager of Chicago. And I ended up getting traded from Omaha to Chicago because he knew me prior from that U16 year, and helping me out with the national program camp and everything. But I went to like 2 or 3 main camps for the Lancers. Didn't make the team. So I played that year in the North American Hockey League. And that was with Craig Doremus, Bobby DeRico. Just great guys, great coaches that I had. I miss them. But like it was a tough year. And I committed to Penn State after that first year of U16, going into my second year. So I guess I'll back up a little bit, because my second year of U16, I actually broke my back. I had like this condition called L5S1 spondylitis, and I was in a back brace for like 4 months. Like couldn't really do anything. Was in PT 4 times a week. Like I had doctors say that I wasn't going to play college hockey, or I shouldn't say doctors. I had this one doctor say that I wasn't going to play college hockey. I wasn't going to play professional hockey. But it's okay. That was just kind of what he thought, I guess. But I just stuck to what I was supposed to do, and kind of just took every day as it came, and eventually it got better. So then I played that. Pretty much missed my whole second year of U16 AAA hockey, and then was thrown right into the North American Hockey League, which is known for like more of a grittier league than the USHL. Like it's older, and going in as I think I was 17 at the time. Like it was a huge step, and those coaches really helped me. Like funny story, and you could ask my coaches too. Like I remember I cried after my first game in the NOL, like up in their office, and I was like, I don't know if I can do this, blah blah blah, this that, and a ton of other thoughts are going through my mind, but and they were just like 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 if you want to be here, like we're gonna work with you, we're gonna stick with it, and then like around Christmas time, I kind of had to make that decision, whether I was going to stay in the North American Hockey League or go back to U18. And I was just like, you know what, like I built up some confidence. And then I trusted these coaches, who've trusted me for the past few months to grind it through. And it ended up being an unbelievable year. Um, and then the next 2 years, I played in the USHL for the Chicago Steel. And that was just incredible, that experience. I can name so many names like Greg Moore, Brock Sheehan, Mike Garman, Daryl Belfry did our skills. Adam Nicholas and Stride Envy did our skills. But like that year, those 2 years in Chicago were unbelievable. Um, and it was just like we just focused on development every day, and they just wanted to make us individually the best people and the best players that we could be. And it was so fun, and it led to a lot of success team wise as well.
Wow, that's an incredible story, and kudos to you for showing such perseverance and pushing through that. And now, once again, you recently signed with the Adirondack Thunder shortly after development camp, and we're going to talk about that a little later. But my next question was like, how difficult did COVID make things? Because your first year with Penn State was the 2020-2021 season. There was still a lot of question marks. I thought that would be your biggest obstacle. I had no idea you had to endure that with your back. So you trying to get back to playing competitively after what you had to go through, on top of that, trying to maneuver through a pandemic, how much more difficult was that?
Yeah, COVID was definitely a super weird time because our USHL season got cut short. We were on unbelievable track to break records as teams, and individual players on our team were breaking records that year. But then everything got shut down. And the year before, we went all the way to the finals and lost to Sioux Falls. So we were, again, super excited that second year to come back and hopefully get to the finals again. But COVID happened, and it got shut down, and we all just had to go home. And you know, like I was going into Penn State the next year, and it like we were supposed to go in and for the summer and everything and train, but obviously that didn't happen because of COVID. And then when we finally ended up getting to school, it was challenging for sure. Like we couldn't even hang out with our own classmates in our dorms. Um, and when we were at the rink, like it was like 5 or 6 guys were in one locker room, 5 or 6 guys were in the other locker room. Um, there was like group sessions, like it was really, like, looking back, it was crazy. Um, but Yeah, it was definitely just like a challenge every single day. Like I said, like at the rank, like team wise, it was weird. But even when we're at the dorms, like you could only hang out with your roommate in your room. And there was a ton of rules and everything that we had to follow. So we weren't even allowed to see our teammates outside, because they were worried if someone got it, then the whole team would get it. Yeah, it was a very weird year. And there was definitely some challenges that came along with it.
Jimmy, I don't think you need me to like say this, but you definitely beat the odds going everything you went through, and now being in this situation. I know I probably don't uh, have that big of an impact on you at all, but let me just say I'm very inspired by your story, and I'm glad that you were able to overcome all that, see success at Penn State, and now land yourself a professional gig with the Adirondack Thunder.
Thank you. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
All right. So let's talk a little bit more about Penn State. You spent 5 years with the Nittany Lions. What was it like playing in front of a ruckus student section at Pegula Ice Arena? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, Pagula, yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean it was the coolest experience ever. You can't really put it into words. And like I'm up here right now and I see the freshmen coming in and they're getting so excited for everything, and it kind of just puts a smile on my face, like seeing how grateful they are to be here and how excited they are to be here. Because that was the biggest thing that, or one of the biggest things that drew me into Penn State was just like the student body, and obviously facilities and how passionate and how supportive the fan base is, along with it also being in the Big Ten, which I really liked about it. But yeah, it was just playing at Pagula and playing in front of the student section and the Penn State fan base as a whole was the coolest experience of my life till this date.
So you played in the Big Ten. Did you get the chance to notice anything about current Devils players like Luke Hughes, Seamus Casey, and Ethan Edwards when they were
Oh
playing
yeah.
for Michigan? What was it like playing against all three guys I just listed? Because I'm sure they brought some energy on the blue line.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. We definitely got our fair share of those three guys. Um, I think there was one game where Luke scored, I want to say 4 goals against us, um, and it was crazy. But yeah, no, it was super fun playing against those guys, and I always like to watch guys obviously in the NHL and stuff, but guys even at the level that I'm at and see if you can take stuff from their game or learn how they do stuff. Um, and yeah, it was super fun, playing against Michigan. And that's a team that we've struggled with a lot in the past. Um, yeah, I mean, those three guys, it was fun to watch them, but it was more fun to be on the ice and compete against them during those series and during those games.
So this past season, the Nittany Lions made it to the Frozen Four for the first time in program history. You were part of the leadership group. What clicked for you guys, and how did you make it that far?
Um, I mean, it was just every single guy on our team kind of bought in. Um, and cause like so if you followed us from the way beginning last year, we were 0-9 in the Big Ten. Like I'm pretty sure it was the worst start in program history. Um, and so we weren't like we never were like completely out on ourselves. Like it was always like 1 goal games, a bounce, this and that. Um, but like after Christmas, it was like, all right, like we got to turn this around, guys. Like we got to find somehow something in us and turn this thing around. Um, and then we had the Wrigley series. And we ended up we still lost that first game in a shootout coming back from break. So that put us to 0-9. But the next night we beat Notre Dame. Um, and again, that first win is huge, right? And then we came home, and then Michigan State came to us, and we ended up beating them in a shootout the one game. And the other game was a super close game, and they were number one in the country at that time. So again, like that kind of just gave us more confidence, with that win. Um, and then I want to say maybe Canisius came next weekend, and then we swept Canisius. Um, and then so like the confidence started to build and guys swagger started to build and we just bought in as a team. And then from then on, like I mean the rest is history. um we really just bought in every single day and trusted our coaches and our coaches trusted us and we trusted what we did. And then it all ended up working out.
I'm sure it felt nice to be one of the first to do something, because that was your guys' first Frozen Four appearance. Unfortunately, you lost to the eventual runner-ups, Boston University. You played against Mike Yegorov, who is in between the pipes. Quinn
Yeah.
Terry, another Devils prospect. What can you tell me about Big Mike, and how difficult and frustrating was it to try to score on him?
Yeah, no, Big Mike's awesome. I met him at a development camp. Um, and it's funny too because I roomed with our goalie last year, who is Arseny Sergeyev, another Russian goalie. And then I went to development camp and I met Big Mike, and like they're so similar in so many ways. Like Big Mike is just he's always so happy around the rink, like he's giggling. Um, and like he's just a kid who's so grateful. Like I remember watching an interview of him when he was at BU, and like he was like he thought it was so cool how like he could go to the cafeteria and like the students were like saying good game to him and stuff and everything. Um, and like that's the exact energy he brought over when I met him at development camp. But yeah, it was definitely. I mean, playing him in that semifinal game was tough. I mean, he played he was lights out. Like, we had chances to score. He makes the first, he makes the second save. So he's a player, and he's a great kid too.
Before we close out today's episode with Jimmy, let me tell you guys about FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week 1 even kicks off, this is your moment. You want to take a flyer on Russell Wilson possibly winning the MVP? That's a huge long shot, but to each their own. Do you want to crown the New York Giants as your champion in August, or parlay your division winner dark horses? Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. Please remember to always gamble responsibly and be careful when betting on the Giants. Okay, it's time to close out today's episode alongside Jimmy. Take it away once again. Gavin McKenna, who is set to be the first overall pick in next year's draft, his NIL deal with the Nittany Lions is somewhere in the ballpark of $700,000. How does it feel knowing that your alma mater is helping shapeshift college hockey in a sense when it comes to name, image, and likeness? Because you talked about your guys' journey, and now here you are landing the potential first overall pick in next year's draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's super awesome to see, and I feel like Penn State has always been the place where like top recruits want to go, but like obviously when you're a top recruit and you see programs with past success, right? Like Michigan has a ton of alumni, Michigan State have a ton of alumni who are in the NHL. Like that can be the determining factors for some kids, you know. But with the success that I mean, we were one goal away from going to the Frozen Four my junior year, and then last year we were in the Frozen Four, and I think that success really drew a lot of kids to be like, all right, like Penn State is legit, and like we kind of got that respect put on our name, and then all of a sudden you see Gavin McKenna coming here, and even other kids like Luke Misa, Shea Van Olm, Lev Katzen, Jackson Smith. Like it's very cool to see these top end kids coming to Penn State, wanting to come to Penn State, and being so excited when they get here.
All right, last few questions. You were at Devils development camp, like you mentioned, and I think you were one of the oldest players there. How did it feel being sort of like a mentor to the younger guys? And also, how did it feel putting on the Devils uniform, similar to your father?
Yeah, it was super cool. And I was just so grateful for that opportunity. Like I remember I was talking to my coach from Penn State, Andrew Sturts, and he was like, "Yeah, I was one of the oldest guys at Ottawa's development camp back in the day, but I loved it." And yeah, it was fun going in as an older guy. You meet some of the draft picks, like Kevs and Conrad and Mo, and they're super young, like they're just starting their college careers. So kind of just having some banter with them and answering their questions about college and whatnot, and it's cool because Mo is going to play at Minnesota too, so that's in the Big Ten, and he'll be able to play at Pagula. But yeah, it was just super fun, just setting the example for the younger guys, doing what I was told, and just working hard.
And that hard work landed you an opportunity with the Adirondack Thunder. How excited are you to play with the Thunder, the ECHL affiliate of the Devils, and also be teammates with Jeremy Brodeur, because both your fathers go way back, once again, similar to the Niedermeyers.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm so excited for this opportunity. Um, and like again, it's so cool that it's with the Adirondack Thunder. I've heard so many good things about the program and the organization and the people within the organization too. And like I've known Jeremy for a little bit now. We actually play against each other, like, or we have played against each other in like summer leagues. We play against each other in this charity tournament at the end of every year. Um, and we talk every once in a while, but it'll be super fun now to be on the same team as him and get to know him a little bit more on and off the ice. Um, but I mean, I'm so excited to get things going, and it's been a long summer. Training's been tough, and it's longer because the pro season starts a little later than college. So like I'm just itching to get there.
Awesome. Final question. How did your father form you as a player and a person? Somebody wanted me to ask you that.
I mean, he did such a good job when I was younger, just kind of instilling like the core values in me. Like the only things that he ever said to me was work hard, have fun, and be a good teammate. Like that's all he ever said, and he was like, you want to be known as the hardest working guy every single day, a great teammate, and just love what you do. Like the only reason you play hockey is because you love it. It's the only reason. Um, and because like especially when you're going through your hockey career and stuff, like it can get tough and it can kind of feel like a job and this and that. And now that it is a job, like it still doesn't change though. Like the only reason you do it is because you love it. And if you wake up every day with that attitude and like you go to the rink and just enjoy it, have a smile on your face, it's gonna be a lot more fun, and you're probably gonna play your best hockey because you just whenever you're having fun with anything, you're just present, you're in the moment, and you're just enjoying it.
Awesome. Jimmy, we talked about everything from growing up with an NHL father to your career at Penn State and now your upcoming season with the Adirondack Thunder. Thank you for taking the time to do this. Do you have any social media plugs that you want to throw in, something in the works? Where can my audience find you at?
My Instagram is Jimmy Dowd _6. That's what I use the most, and I think my Twitter is Jimmy Dowd JR. But yeah, no, thank you so much for having me on. And it's actually funny I'm on here because I was watching your episode about the draft picks when I was driving up to development camp because I was kind of just curious. But no, that's pretty cool. So thanks for having me on, and yeah, I appreciate it.
Thanks for now being a friend of the show and also supporting my show by listening. And like I do to close out every episode, continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day, New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys next episode. Special thanks to my guest star, Jimmy Dowd Jr. Thanks for listening once again.